How are you? I'm fine. I'm very happy to present you this book. Haendel, 10 Sonatas. I will show you this is more clear what this is. 10 sonatas for wind instrument and basso continuo transcribed for 2 alto recorders. Long work that I did in some months. The idea is two ideas. There is ideas for this transcription. The first, to permit that the people could play chamber music at home, some music that is not easy to find other people for playing together, because flute and basso continuo, recorder and basso continuo, you need cembalo, cello, fagot, not org or piano, but not all people has this possibility. But to find another recorder player with you, like you, or to play in self duo is more easy. So this is the first idea. The second, normally we recorder player, we play 4 sonata or sometimes 5, 6, but normally 4 sonatas, G minor, C major, A minor and F major. But these are 10 because there is sonata for flute, traverse flute, baroque flute, or for oboe. And you will see this sonata for flute and oboe are more difficult than the sonata for recorder. So that implies that Haendel thought that probably recorder player was less good as traverso player or oboe player, or probably traverso, flute and oboe was professional and recorder was at the moment amateur. It could be. Bach has not this problem. In the cantata, Bach write the same difficulties for recorder, trumpet, flute. But in this case, the part of the original one for recorder are more easy. There are 10 sonatas. The first, for example, is for flute, traverse flute, baroque flute. You will see sometime the first flute has a part very more complicated than the second. In this case, is evident. For me, it's difficult to stop to play because it's so lovely. And the second flute make an accompaniment, not so complicated. Etc. This sonata, I think that the recorder player no, not at all. It's lovely, not easy. Etc. etc. The second sonata is for original for recorder, is well known. And it's a pleasure to play with 2 recorder. I am sure you will love it. For example, in the second movement, the second part has something complicated to do. Etc. etc. So not ever the second flute as more simple. In the fourth movement, the first part is more easy than the second. The second is more and as a good exercise for taking breath between fast note. The third sonata in this this book is the number 4 in A minor. And this point I had to change the note from I close and open because the computer. In this point I have to change one note because the original is A on the bass and E on the flute as a fifth, A, E. But in this case I cannot put the lower A for the recorder because the second recorder they broken completely the idea. There is nothing. The idea original is but I cannot use A as is written by Haendel because there will be A higher of E that is a fourth, and a music in Baroque period cannot start a bar with a fourth. It's prohibited. So I put a C, this is a sixth, and sixth run. Sometimes making a transcription is like making traduction, translate of a poem. Sometimes you have to change the word used by the poet. In the second movement, the first flute has nothing to do. But the second has a lot to do. I have to study it. So, not ever the second flute is easier than the first. The fourth movement is lovely and famous, I think. And to play with two alto recorders is run perfectly. The fourth sonata is originally for flute. There is very, very interesting with the second movement like a fugue. This was the first flute and the second. As a lovely dialogue. Adagio is the same of the sonata in C major. With some small difference, but very small, and you will see it's interesting to see the difference. Then we have a sonata for oboe. Normally oboe is an instrument in C, but I don't know why in the Baroque music oboe play with some flats. And this, the original was in C minor, in G minor, I transcribed it in C minor, but originally was 2 flats and now there is 3. Lovely sonata with allegro not so easy. Of course you can play it slower. And then there is the famous sonata in C major. etc., etc. And to play two recorder the second movement, it's perfect because alone. What is this? Pa pa pa. But in the dialogue, pa 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 pa, you will see it's a perfect dialogue. And then we have a sonata again for oboe. The original was in C minor and this is F minor, 4 flats. With a second movement there is like a chromatic. This is my dog. A chromatic, there is a Albtraum, I don't know in English. It's dreaming. There is a chromatic fuga. First flute, second. Really like a fugue or like a canon. And then there is a flute, the number, there is for flute, for baroque flute, but there is a version for recorder made by Haendel self. I think it's a Fitzwilliam sonata. Lovely, with this vivace, not easy. I stop. And then with a fuga alla breve, the last movement. And the answer. Then we have a sonata F major for recorder. With this lovely last fourth movement. But in duo, I will take his sense because significance, because the second flute so in duo it's more better than alone. The sonata number 18, I think is the last one. The bass start alone. Unusual for Haendel. And then we allegro and not the first movement is special. So 10 sonatas that you can play on two recorder. And yes, I think it will be a pleasure to play in duo. Not easy, but not virtuosistic, not impossible. Bye bye.